Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sneaker Updates. This will be Sneaker Updates number 40. That's right, guys, we made it to 40. Anyway, if you happen to be new here, this has now become a weekly series on the channel, and if you're not familiar with the series, essentially we go over a variety of different sneakers, that of which got updates for throughout this week. For example, some of those may potentially include some Nike and Off-White, Yeezys, Jordans, and more. But with that short little intro out of the way, why don't we jump right into the first update. Today, let's kick it off with some Yeezys, considering that's where the bulk of today's info actually lies. Kicking it off, I'll start with something I mentioned a few months ago, but just wanted to confirm with you guys that it's actually going to happen. The Yeezy 700 wave runners have now also been confirmed to be dropping by Yeezy Mafia soon. That means we're going to be seeing the men's sizes, the kids sizes, and also the toddler sizes. Moving on to some more exciting news, we finally got an in-hand look at the Yeezy 350 V3. This is something that has been anticipated for a very long time. If you guys have been watching this channel for a significant amount of time, you know that we briefly touched on this topic months ago, many months ago, and finally they're coming up again, even though they were supposed to be releasing quite a while ago, but now it looks like they're going to be coming soon, hopefully at least. Moving on, courtesy of Hanzuying, we have in-hand images of the Cloud White Yeezy 350. As you guys can see, these are quite reminiscent of what we see with the blue tints. However, of course, there is no red on these, and also it's just simply more mundane. There's not too much going on. Then, also courtesy of him, we got an in-hand look at the Citron Yeezy 350, which is also releasing on the same date in September. We talked about the dates in the last video. Feel free to check that out if you haven't yet. Also, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications if you happen to be new here, just to stay 100% updated on everything. Moving on, courtesy of Yeezy Mafia, the Yeezy 700 Magnet is also dropping soon. This is quite similar to what we saw with the Wave Runner colorway. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of these, but perhaps they'll grow on me once I see these on feet. Honestly, I was a little skeptical of the Wave Runners before those even dropped, and hey, now I really like them. Finally, for Yeezys, we got to see Kanye West himself rock one of his newest designs in Hollywood. Let me know your thoughts on this shoe right here. That right there is going to conclude it for Yeezys, though. Why don't we move on to some Jordans? First of all, official images have loaded for the Jordan 1 Tour Yellow. These are still set to be dropping July 27th for $160. Moving on, I wanted to clarify on something that I feel like a lot of you guys are actually going to be excited to hear if you don't already know this. But if you don't remember, we mentioned a very long time ago, back in March, I believe, that there were yellow black toe Jordan 1s produced, and honestly, a lot of you guys were really excited about them, and I was too. I think they're a fantastic colorway, and a lot of you guys were disappointed when you saw that there were mids coming out in a very similar colorway, the yellow toe colorway. A lot of you guys thought that those were replacing these, but no, that's not the case. It's a completely different style code, and we still are going to be getting these. Likely, it's going to be within the next few months this fall of 2019. This is an entirely different style code. Jordan still produced AR 1020-700. That's what these highs are, and we're still going to be getting these for $160, and man, am I excited. Moving on, earlier this week, we saw an early release for the cool gray Jordan 4 that last dropped in 2004. Now, the way these released, I wouldn't exactly call it a shock drop. That's not how they did it. What they did was they loaded like one of those street sneaker stories, and as you swipe through the story, you eventually got to a point where you saw an option to click on this. You could have done it that way, or you could have simply searched the shoe yourself. You just search cool gray and it would pop up. You could click on that, and it basically just loaded 3 minutes before the drop, so it gave you enough time to watch the story, I guess, if you were doing it that way, the authentic way. And then after they ended up dropping, they did upload on Nike sneakers with the actual release date, which will be August 1st. Moving on to the next update, one that I know a lot of you guys are excited for. We have official images now loaded onto Nike for the Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. Also, feel free to follow me, KeithAdam10, on Twitter. That is where I tweeted out the link for the Shopify drop, which was just a little while ago. I'll leave it at that for right now, but I'm sure you can assume what's going to happen. Finally, we should be seeing the Chicago Jordan 1B re-retroed February 15th for $160. The date, of course, is subject to change, and just like the breads we're also getting soon, these are going to be high cut, and they're going to have that OG appearance. Of course, I am very excited for these. This is a must cop for 2020. With Jordans out of the way though, why don't we move on to some Nike and Off-White. I didn't want to start here because there's only one update for Nike and Off-White, but essentially the Air Force One MCA Off-White are going to be at Complex Con, but it's only going to be 4 pairs raffled total. But the main update here is after Complex Con, sometime after, they are going to be released on sneakers. With that, let's move on to some miscellaneous sneakers. So let's kick it off with official images for the Sacai waffle. All 3 of these were sadly delayed all the way until September, and now September is looking so hectic. It's looking extremely packed. August is looking fantastic too. These 3 are certainly some shoes to look forward to. Moving on, the Parra Nike SB Blazers will both be dropping July 26th. Both of these will be profitable. I know some of you guys may actually be asking, and because of that high retail of $105 for the SBs and only $85 for the Blazers, and they're also being somewhat limited and also decent demand, you should be able to make a small amount of profit at least, although you shouldn't expect them to do as well as what we saw with the Air Max. And moving on to the last update for today, just felt like throwing this one in there for fun, although I don't think a lot of you guys actually care about this one. Earlier this week, there was an AR hunt or a sneakers cam that took place for the Kyrie Irving Spongebob shoes. We had the Spongebob version and we also had a Patrick version. I don't think they look too nice at all, but you know, maybe it's something you get for your kid. Now we do see that these are going to be dropping August 10th again. With that, I'm going to conclude today's video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video or if you perhaps learned a thing or two. With that, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and subscribe and turn on post notifications if you happen to be new.
You always tell me where you should be stepping. Using your shoe like a size 12 weapon. Get your foot off my foot.
Get your foot off my foot, yeah!
Now I can't run and I can't walk. You hit me so hard I don't want to talk. Get your foot off my foot.